Okie dokie diddly pokey. Range, logic, and Python fundamentals. This is the day you learn, folks. Trust me, you ain't getting away from me. Now, I'm gonna be teaching you pretty easy mode Python. It is that same easy mode Python that will get you to make this by video 9 of my tutorials. Since learning this will give you the foundation for you to go onwards yourself to easily make games like this. And more advanced stuff like this. Releasing soon in 2026, by the way. Also, soon I'll be teaching you how to make a copy of this game. I finished recording the videos and I'm editing them right now, and I'll be releasing them on Patreon one by one before I release them all together on YouTube when I finish them. So subscribe to my Patreon to get early access on those when they release. Until then, back to the video. All our code is going to be various variations of this template. I'm going to walk you through what each section of this template does, and while we're doing that, we're also going to make an example which is going to make this cube move. First things first, import. Import is what allows us to access all the terminology and the fancy language we use to write our code. All this language is contained in what we call modules, and the import imports the modules. The reason why it has to come first is because we wouldn't even be able to use any of this if you didn't first import the BGE module. Since all this language is in the BGE module. And generally, the way your script works is things are ran in line order, which is why it makes no sense if you put it down here. I mean, what, you about to make the script read backwards? Can you read backwards? Didn't think so. Even if you can, I didn't think so. Even if you can, you're watching this right now. Oh yeah, I can read backwards. Shh. I didn't think so. Def is short for define. The def line is used to define the function that has all the code underneath it. The next thing in this template is this section, and to understand it, let's look at the logic editor real quick. So select your cube, full screen the logic editor, and first things first, if you didn't have your cube already selected, as you can see, all our programming for the cube is separated into 3 sections. For each object, we have what is called sensors, controllers, and actuators. Sensors are what trigger our objects to do things, actuators are the things we want our object to do, and controllers allow us to connect the sensors to the actuators in different ways. So for example, if I had a keyboard sensor and made the key input W, and then I got a, let's just say, I don't know, maybe a motion actuator, and then we connect these two up like this, automatically it will choose an AND controller. What we would basically have going on is if the W key is pressed, it would then trigger the motion actuator, and the motion actuator is what makes our object move. The reason why this controller says AND is because if we were to have another sensor, for example, another keyboard sensor, and had the key be the shift key, if we connected that to the same controller, what we're basically saying is if the W key and the left shift key is pressed, then those two combined would trigger the motion actuator. And now when we start looking at the list of controllers we could possibly have, they now start to make a little bit more sense. So for example, the OR controller would mean if the W key or the left shift key was pressed, it would trigger the motion actuator. So either one on their own could trigger it, but if we had the AND controller, both of these would have to be pressed at the same time for the motion actuator to activate. Now, yeah, this is well and good, but if I wanted the sensor and the actuator to be controlled to a Python script, yeah. Then, yep, we can do that. Just like so. Let's get rid of this sensor real quick. Oh, I almost forgot. If you want to deconnect sensors, you hold on to the control button and draw a line, cut in the connection to cut the link between any of the sensors, controllers, and actuators. And then you can press the X button to delete any of them. Anyway, for this controller containing the Python script, since we only want the code underneath this function, we change the script type from script to module, get the name of this Python script, paste it in here, and instead of py, we just put the name of the function after the full stop. Now that I've explained all that, if we go back to this section, you might be beginning to see a few things now. You know, sensor, actuator, controller. Correct. This section is where we define the data and the properties of our object, and also what our object has access to. The first line has to be the controller, since our object can only access the script through the controller in the logic editor. And instead of writing the entire line just to get the controller, every time we need to get it in the script, we just abbreviate the line down to just cont. Of course, you can name this anything, but con is just easy to understand. I mean, it's just easy. I mean, just look at it. It's just one syllable. That's good. That's easy to understand. The next line is important because we need the script to know the controller's owner, which is this object. Having the script know this allows us to access all the data within this object. And trust me, there's a lot of data that you can use in this object. Next is the scene that the object is in. And this allows us to access and manipulate all the data in the scene and have the object control it if it needs to. And next is message, which will allow us to remotely trigger other objects to do stuff by sending it a message to do it. And the reason why we're defining everything is, think of it like this. This script here is very dumb. It can't see, it doesn't know what's going on. So you have to sit there and explain to it everything that it needs to do its job. So now that we've defined all those definitions, well, variables, they're actually called variables in Python. So, that's something to remember if you want to. Go down and we can see the sensor and the actuator, which are the sensor and the actuator. Sensors means the controller's sensors. And if you go down into the controller's sensors, we have this keyboard sensor and its name is currently keyboard. In the square brackets is where the name of the sensor goes. As I've just said, it's currently keyboard. However, you can name this anything. And since the name of the sensor is keyboard, you would put in the square brackets keyboard. Same for the actuator. Since the name of the actuator is motion, in the square brackets, you would put motion. And now we have all the infinity stones to program our object. Which leads us on to the next section where we actually get the script to tell our object to do the things with the information we've provided it. And the way we tell it to do things is mainly through if statements like these. If this, do this. If the sensor is active or positive, the controller should activate this actuator. Memorize this structure. Get it memorized. Put it inside your brain. Download this structure into your neural link. For those watching in the future, I don't know. You don't need to remember the exact lines of code to write since there's many variations, but the structure. The structure is what you need. If this, do this. And also, you're not always going to have the else, though for things like actuators, you'll typically always need it. But pretty much, this structure is going to be your, ladies and gentlemen, this structure is going to be your life. Next time you go to the kitchen, if drawer opening is positive, can't activate drawer opening. Else, can't deactivate drawer opening. If drawer close is positive, can't activate drawer closing. Else, can't deactivate drawer closing. So with this structure in mind, if we wanted to make this object move, select the object, go over to the motion actuator, choose the y-axis, bing, 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 5 blender units per frame, turn this button on. This button is true level triggering. This ensures that the sensor stays on during the entire input. And now if you press P to run the game and press W, my friends, that is a W. As you've seen, what we've just done is move the object forward with the W key. However, to move it in all directions, as you'd imagine, you would use the WASD keys. So see if with the knowledge I've given you, you're able to figure it out for the other directions. That is your challenge. That is your homework. Pause this video, click save as something like movement challenge and try it out. Alright. Welcome back. This is the way you do it. First things first, go in the logic editor and add yourself 3 more keyboard sensors. We're gonna have A for left, D for right, and S for back. Turn true triggering on for all of them. And then also to make your life easier, change the names of the sensors to the directions that they'll be moving in when you press each of these buttons. And connect them all to the controller. Then you're gonna get 3 more motion actuators and connect the controller to all 3. Rename the actuators to the directions they'll be moving in. To know which direction is which, you can use the arrows to help you. So for example, the red arrow is the x-axis, the green arrow is the y-axis, and the blue arrow is the z-axis. So if you want it to move left, it's gotta be the negative x-axis. Bing, 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 bing. Minimize them all. I mean, if you want to. I mean, it just looks cleaner. And in the script itself, you're gonna give yourself 3 more sensors, 3 more actuators. In the square brackets, give them the same names as you've given them in the logic editor, and then also change their definitions to be the same or similar as well. I mean, you can name them anything, but I mean, it's just easier this way. Afterwards, apply this information into this structure over here. So if the forward sensor is positive, then the controller should activate the forward motion actuator. Else, it will deactivate the forward motion actuator. And do the same for the left, right, and back directions. Like so. If you press P to run the game and then use the WASD keys, as you can see, the cube is moving around just like you expect it to when you move the, yeah. Now, if you did something else that got similar results, then yeah, I mean, congrats, I guess. But trust me, this way is gonna save your life. I can already feel some of you did it like this, didn't you? You did it like this, didn't you? Confess. I mean, if you did it like this, then I mean, well, I mean, that was the job, so I mean, congrats, I guess. Like, I mean, I mean, here's your medal, bro. Like, but trust me, as your friend, my friend, do it this way. It'll save your life. Even better, an additional tip, if you press hash, anything you type after that hash won't affect the script, which means you can label each code block to help you organize it even better. Look how clean that looks. Mwah! Chef's kiss. And trust me, this is really gonna save your life, because when you start making a bunch of these for different things in the game, and your script is like X thousand lines long, you're gonna wish you did this a lot sooner. And there we go. That is all. Woo!